When I started reading into what habits are all about and how they work, I realized something about us entrepreneurs. And this may sound really obvious, but it's so the opposite of what we do as entrepreneurs. The real reason why entrepreneurs and habits don't get along most of the time. Have you ever noticed that when you want to put a new habit into place, you have the biggest energy about it at the beginning? Your intentions are so clear. You're like, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to go all in and I'm going to build this habit. I'm going to make this work. So maybe you're someone that wants to get fitter and healthier, right? You're going to do it. You've decided you're going to go every single day to the gym. You're going to eat well. You're going to do your steps. You're going to do all of the good stuff that you need to do. So you have the plan. You're going to build this habit. And then you realize that things didn't go to plan, right? So day one, you've got all the energy in the world behind it. You're there, you're at the gym, you've planned your meals, you're eating well, you've got your steps in, all of that kind of stuff. Day two, same thing. Day three, same thing. And by that point, you're like, well, I've got this clocked. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to do this. I can do this. So you start telling other people about it. So you feel really good about yourself. You're telling people now. You want to inspire other people to do the same thing. Everything's great. And then day four comes. And you wake up and it doesn't quite feel the same. The energy's not there. You're not feeling that same hype, that same drive to do what you did the 3 days before. So you think to yourself, maybe I'm just a bit tired. I'll go tomorrow and I'll do an extra long workout. So day four is the hiatus, it's the day off. Day five comes. And this is the day that you're meant to do the extra long workout and you wake up and you're like, I've got so much on my plate. I don't know if I can get to the gym for 2 hours. Next week, I can go every day. So next week comes and you're seeing a similar pattern now. There's the flakiness. You're like up and down with it. The habit feels like it's already flopped before it started, but you've told everyone about this now. So people are asking you how things going. And you, at that point, you don't really want to say, I flopped after day three. After the day that I told you about it, it didn't go quite so well for me. So you just hope that people stop asking you about it. And then it becomes one of those habits that you're going to get to another time. Like, you know, the time's not now. You're too busy right now. It's not going to happen right now. It's not the right time for this, right? Now you've started something and you've stopped it. You've told people about it and now you feel a bit embarrassed about it. So you just hope that it just disappears into the sidelines and no one ever talks about it again. We just get rid of it, put it in the shredder. And then it comes to another habit that you want to do. And now you've decided that the habit that you want to build is putting out content every day. So you think about it and you're like, okay, I need to put out 3 pieces of content a day and I need to do this consistently for the next 12 months and this is how I'm going to get to where I'm trying to go. So you do the content, you're trying to plan it in and you're trying to schedule it. You filmed a few bits and you're doing good for the first few days and then the same pattern hits that hit you from when you were trying to go to the gym. The first few days are great. And then the 4th, the 5th, the 6th day, it becomes really difficult and then you fall off again. I've experienced these patterns a lot in the past. So you have to ask yourself the question, why do I keep starting these habits with great intentions, going all in, and then I just can't seem to keep it going? So I started looking into this, right? I wanted to understand, why do we keep doing that? Especially as people that, you know, might be really good at taking action in other areas. Every day you wake up and you work on your business. Every day you wake up and you're trying to make things happen, right? So then why is it so difficult to start and maintain these new habits that we're trying to layer onto things? When I started reading into what habits are all about and how they work, I realized something about us entrepreneurs. Let me tell you about one of the important things when it comes to habits. One of the things that I learned was that, and this may sound really obvious, but it's so the opposite of what we do as entrepreneurs. In order for you to build and maintain a habit to the point where it becomes a subconscious thing that you do, you need to make it easy to start. You need to make it so easy that it's basically a no-brainer, right? So let's look at the gym example for a minute. Entrepreneur version number one that I explained at the beginning, we decide we're going to go to the gym, we're going to get fit, but we want to go all in, right? We want to go all in. We're going to go every single flipping day because that's what we do. We go all in. So by going all in, please let me know, like, is that making it easy for you to maintain and continue that habit? By saying to yourself that you're going to go every single day, is this the easiest way for you to get this habit going? Probably not, right? So I realized that by nature, because entrepreneurs, go-getters, ambitious people, whatever you want to call them, because we have this nature of thinking big, turning something small, turning a little idea into a fully blown business, turning a vision in your mind into something that exists in reality, because we have trained ourselves into that way of thinking, we then take that way of thinking and apply it to everything else and think that this is how it's going to work. And unfortunately, from what I learned, that is not sustainable when it comes to building habits. A lot of the time, you cannot take that mindset of going all in and turning something into a massive thing and applying that to building a habit. And this way of thinking can be so counterintuitive for us because it's almost like the thought of maybe saying something like, I'm going to just go to the gym once this week, or I'm going to go for 10 minutes. It makes us feel really weird inside. It's almost like, I can't do that. Like that's, what's the point? I can't do it. So you've got like this resistance. And because it's so counterintuitive and because it goes against the way that you're used to operating, you just think, I'm just going to go all in. But if you look at the patterns of things, when you've probably been trying to build these habits in the past, going all in isn't the answer. From what I've been reading and learning, one of the really important lessons is just to keep it simple and keep it easy. Make it easy to win. So how would you do that? Well, for example, let's talk about the content creation, right? So if you've said to yourself, if your initial thought process was, I'm going to do 3 to 5 pieces of content a day because that's what I see all these big accounts doing, and that's where I'm going to start. Do you really think you can do that? If you can, oh my God, like fantastic. But is that sustainable is what you've got to ask yourself. From where you are right now, does that feel like the easiest next step? So we do want to keep it easy, but at the same time, it needs to be something that starts creating that momentum. So you've got to understand where you are, right? So maybe you're starting with not having ever put out any content for your business or for your personal brand. Maybe you're at the point where you've never really gone to the gym. And for you to then say, like, I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to create 3 pieces of content every day. Does that feel like the next easiest thing to do? It probably doesn't. So I hate to say it, but you've got to bring it down a notch, right? I know it goes against everything that we feel like and everything that we think like, but we want to win long term, right? So is that the next easiest thing for you to do? Is it the next logical step? So with the gym, maybe the next logical step for you is to go for a walk round the block every day. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's about doing 10 minutes. Maybe it's about just walking round where you live for 10 minutes and doing that every single day for 1 or 2 weeks. Then maybe after that, it's about extending that walk. Or maybe you feel like, actually, it's easy for me right now. I feel like it's the next logical step for me to actually get in the gym. And maybe I say to myself, I'm going to do that for 15 minutes. I'm going to commit to doing 15 minutes. So now you can probably even like feel it. Like when you're talking about it in that way, you know that that's easier. You probably know you can do that. So when you get to that stage of, I know I can do that. Okay, so what's the next level? And eventually over time, because you've been gradually building this up, you eventually get to that point where you're at the gym every day, if that's what you want to do, and you're doing an hour workout, you eventually get to the point where you're putting out 3 pieces of content a day. But in scenario one, where you start with 3 pieces of content a day, or you start with going to the gym 1 hour a day, every day for, the whole week, you probably will enter this stop and start scenario where you go and then you stop. And then a few weeks later, you try again and then you stop. But by doing that, you're wasting so much time. Time is slipping away. Had you have allowed yourself to start at a lower level, maybe by the time you get to the end of the month, you'd be in the position that you want to be, right? In terms of the habit. And obviously things can take longer than that, but you get what I'm trying to say here. So I feel like entrepreneurs do what entrepreneurs do and they think big. But in the playing field of habits, I think we need to park the thinking big at the beginning. And it's about making it easy, making it achievable, which then makes it sustainable and puts you in a position to be able to keep moving towards the ultimate thing that you want, which is building the habit that you're trying to build. Thinking big is a wonderful thing. It really is. But yeah, when it comes to habits, I think we probably need to think a bit smaller so that it's easier for us to actually keep moving forward. So if you've got that habit that you've been trying to put into place and it's just been on that list for months or maybe years, ask yourself, have I made it easy for myself to do this? Look at the habit that you're saying you're going to put into place. Are you trying to start too big with where you are right now? And ask yourself, what's the level below this? What's the level below this? Until you get to the point where you think, actually, I can start here. And then start building up from there. And you'll probably realize that by doing that, it may feel slower at the start, but because you don't have this friction and this gridlock of the stopping and starting, eventually you'll get to where you're trying to go anyway.